Hi everyone! So today I'm going to make a black and white themed bird feeder. I found this really cool bowl at Walmart. I really love this design and I thought this would make a really nice black and white themed bird feeder. This will be the bowl for the seeds. And of course I have a couple of plates so I'm going to use for the roof. And I have this little candle holder and another little candle holder. It's glass with the silver rim. And I found these at a thrift store too. I think these are metal. They're very heavy bowls. So I'm going to add these to the bird feeder. I'm going to use gems. And of course this candlestick holder is going to be the middle. That was bought at the thrift store. I'm going to use JB Weld clear epoxy. And I have a hook for the top. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hook in the top bowl. The bowl is actually going to be on the top and the hook is going to be in the bowl like this. So how I'm going to do this, I would fill this up with epoxy, but that would take a lot of epoxy to fill that up. So I'm going to use these black gems and I'm going to put some of these in here. A little bit more. Okay, and what I do is I use either Sculpey clay, I got this at Walmart, or putty, and then I roll putty into a ball like this, and then I put the screw into the putty ball so it'll stand upright while the glue dries. So I put it in there like this, and then I'll put the beads around it, like that. Okay. And then it just stands upright, and then I'm going to pour the glue in here, or the epoxy in here, and then when it dries it'll be nice and strong. Okay, so I usually cut plastic bottles and I use the bottom to do my mixing in. I like these little twist caps on the JB Weld. That's Alright, so the next step is I am going to glue this inside the little glass candle holder, like that. And I also need to fill this with epoxy, so I'm going to put a couple of gems in there just to fill up space, so I don't have to use as much epoxy. Like that. Okay. Pour that in there. Mix up some more. Okay, now I'm going to set this inside. Okay, so I set this one aside. I'm going to let that dry overnight. Now I'm going to work on the roof. I'm going to use these two plates for the roof. I'm going to flip it over. It's going to go over the bowl like that. So I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to glue the white plate on top of here like this to give it some more dimension and more color. Alright, so I'm going to put epoxy around the edge here. Now this is going to be glued on top of here like this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that right now since I'm working on the roof. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to glue is this candlestick holder is going to go in the middle of the bowl like this, and the roof is going to sit on top. I'm going to glue this on here, and then the roof will sit on top of this. So I'm actually going to glue this upside down like this. Okay. And this candlestick is pretty heavy. I think it's like a lead crystal. I need something that would be strong to hold it together. Okay, so this is what I'm going to end with today because I need to let all of this dry. I've got the hook and the epoxy all glued to the roof. And then this candlestick holder with the glass dish here. This is going to hold up the roof. Let that dry. And then I'll glue it into the bowl tomorrow. And this is actually going to go underneath the bowl. So it's going to look like this. Just for decoration. So I'm going to let this all dry and work on it some more tomorrow. Okay, so it's 24 hours later, and I went ahead and put a little extra epoxy around the edge where the vase touches the glass here. I wanted to make sure there was enough epoxy to keep it secure. So I just put a little extra around there, and I also put a little bit extra around the edge of these two plates here for the roof. So now I'm going to glue this candlestick into the bowl here like this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pour the extra around the edges here. Okay, and I'm also going to use a level just to make sure everything is straight. Okay, I let this dry for about 30 minutes, and it's dry enough to where I can glue the roof on the top. This is going to go on here like this, but in order to make sure that it's centered, I'm going to flip the roof over and glue it upside down. So I'm going to put this into a box like this. And then I'll put some glue around the edge of this and then flip it over onto the roof. Okay, and while I have this upside down, I'm going to go ahead and glue this little cup onto the bottom of this bowl. And this is just for decoration. I'm going to glue it onto the bottom like this. Okay, so I have all the pieces together, and tomorrow I'll probably put a little bit more epoxy around some edges just for reinforcements. But I'm going to let this dry overnight and finish it up tomorrow, and then I'll be able to hang it. Okay, so I let this dry overnight. And this morning I went ahead and put some extra epoxy around the edges underneath the roof, and then on the edges of this bowl hanging underneath. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And then I also put some more epoxy in the bottom of the bowl just to make sure everything stays secure. And now another thing I'm going to do is, since this plate is satin finish and the bowl is glossy, I'm going to go ahead and put a clear coat on the roof and on the bottom here, just so everything will be glossy and it'll protect it a little bit. I have this high heat clear coat that I bought at Walmart. It's for car engines, but I'm going to go ahead and spray that on here right now. Okay, so I have that clear coat on here. I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and then I'll go hang the bird feeder outside. Okay, here it is hanging outside. Okay, I put sunflower seeds in here. We'll see if any birds come. I see a lot of cardinals flying around here, so I hope they find it. And thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.